Machines replaced labor, but we still had blue collar. This way, there are many people that we should care about that will see, if not replacement, a reduction in the number of pings they're getting. Simple as that. What are we going to do about that?
Olá, amigos do canal Bom Dia Geoeconomia. Este é o segundo de uma série de 2 vídeos, onde vamos trazer a visão deste especialista em inteligência artificial sobre os impactos da inteligência artificial no mercado de trabalho. Quais profissões deixarão de existir? Quais profissões serão criadas? Como se preparar para este novo mundo? Quais os riscos reais para a humanidade? Estamos diante de mais uma revolução industrial. Porém, desta vez, as máquinas vão substituir não só o nosso corpo, mas também nosso cérebro e nossa mente. Como o ser humano vai se enquadrar neste novo cenário? Deixe seu like se você se interessou por este assunto. Se inscreva no nosso canal e acompanhe mais sobre a revolução causada pela inteligência artificial.
You know who Geoffrey Hinton is?
Oh, Jeffrey, I had him on the documentary as well. I love Jeffrey.
Geoffrey Hinton told me...
Trained to be a plumber.
Really?
Yeah.
100%, for a while.
And I thought he was joking.
100%.
And so I asked him again, and he looked me dead in the eye and told me that I should train to be a plumber.
100%. So it's funny, huh? Machines replaced labor, but we still had blue collar. Then, the refined jobs became white collar information workers.
What's the refined jobs?
You don't have to really carry heavy stuff or deal with physical work. You sit in an office and sit in meetings all day and blabber, useless shit, and that's your job.
Yeah.
Okay. And those jobs, funny enough, in the reverse of that, because robotics are not ready yet. Okay. And I believe they're not ready because of a stubbornness on the robotics community around making them humanoids. Okay. Because it takes so much to perfect a human-like action at proper speed. You could, have many more robots that don't look like a human, just like a self-driving car in California. Okay. That does already replace drivers. But they're delayed. So the replacement of physical manual labor is going to take 4 to 5 years before it's possible at the quality of the AI replacing mental labor now. And when that happens, it's going to take a long cycle to manufacture enough robots so that they replace all of those jobs. So that cycle will take longer. Blue collar will stay longer.
So I should move into blue collar and shut down my office?
I think you're not the problem.
Okay, good.
Let's put it this way. There are many people that we should care about that are a simple travel agent or an assistant that will see, if not replacement, a reduction in the number of pings they're getting. Simple as that. And someone in ministries of labor around the world needs to sit down and say, what are we going to do about that? What if all taxi drivers and Uber drivers in California get replaced by self-driving cars? Should we start thinking about that now, noticing that the trajectory makes it look like a possibility?
I'm going to go back to this argument, which is what a lot of people will be shouting. Yes, but there will be new jobs. Or...
as I said, other than human connection jobs, name me one.
So I've got 3 assistants, right? Sophie, Lee, and B. And okay, in the near term, there might be, with AI agents, I might not need them to help me book flights anymore. I might not need them to help do scheduling anymore. Or even I've been messing around with this new AI tool that my friend built. And you basically, when me and you're trying to schedule something like this today, I just copy the AI in and it looks at your calendar, looks at mine and schedules it for us. So there might not be scheduling needs, but my dog is sick at the moment. And as I left this morning, I was like, damn, he's really sick and I've taken him to the vet over and over again. I really need someone to look after him and figure out what's wrong with him. So those kinds of responsibilities of care.
I don't disagree at all. Again,
and I won't, I'm not going to be, I don't know how to say this in a nice way, but my assistants will still have their jobs. But I, as a CEO, will be asking them to do a different type of work.
Correct. So this is the calculation everyone needs to be aware of. A lot of their current responsibility, whoever you are, if you're a paralegal, if you're whatever, will be handed over. So let me explain it even more accurately. There will be 2 stages of our interactions with the machines. One is what I call the era of augmented intelligence. So it's human intelligence augmented with AI doing the job. And then the following one is what I call the era of machine mastery. The job is done completely by an AI without a human in the loop. Okay, so in the era of augmented intelligence, your assistances will augment themselves with an AI to either be more productive, okay, or interestingly, to reduce the number of tasks that they need to do. Correct? Now, the more the number of tasks get reduced, the more they'll have the bandwidth and ability to do tasks like take care of your dog. right? Or tasks that, basically is about meeting your guests or whatever, human connection,
Yeah.
life connection. But do you think you need 3 for that? Or maybe now that some tasks have been, outsourced to AI, will you need 2? You can easily calculate that from call center agents. So from call center agents, they're not firing everyone, but they're taking the first part of the funnel and giving it to an AI. So instead of having 2,000 agents in a call center, they can now do the job with 1,800. I'm just making that number up. Society needs to think about the 200.
And you're telling me that they won't move into other roles somewhere else?
I am telling you, I don't know what those roles are.
Well,
I think we should all be musicians, we should all be authors, we should all be artists, we should all be entertainers, we should all be comedians, these are roles that will remain. We should all be plumbers for the next 5 to 10 years. Fantastic, okay? But even that requires society to morph. And society is not talking about it. Okay? I had this wonderful interview with friends of mine, Peter Diamandis and some of our friends, and they were saying, the American people are resilient, they're going to be entrepreneurs. I was like, seriously, you're expecting a truck driver that will be replaced by an autonomous truck to become an entrepreneur? Like, please put yourself in the shoes of real people, right? Do you expect a single mother who has 3 jobs to become an entrepreneur? And I'm not saying this is a dystopia. It's a dystopia if humanity manages it badly. Why? Because this could be the utopia itself, where that single mother does not need 3 jobs. Okay? If our society was just enough, that single mother should have never needed 3 jobs, right? But the problem is our capitalist mindset is labor arbitrage, is that I don't care what she goes through. If you're generous in your assumption, you'll say, because, of what I've been given, I've been blessed. Or if you're mean in your assumption, it's going to be because she's an eater. I'm a successful businessman. The world is supposed to be fair. I work hard. I make money. We don't care about them.
Are we asking of ourselves here something that is not inherent in the human condition? What I mean by that is the reason why me and you are in my office here. We're on the 4th or 3rd floor of my office in central London. Big office, 25,000 square feet with lights and internet connections and Wi-Fi's and modems and AI teams downstairs. The reason that all of this exists is because something inherent in my ancestors meant that they built and accomplished and grew. And that was like inherent in their DNA. There was something in their DNA that said, we will expand and conquer and accomplish. So they've passed that to us because we're their offspring. And that's why we find ourselves in these skyscrapers.
There is truth to that story. It's not your ancestors, right?
What is it?
It's the media brainwashing you.
Really?
100%.
But if you look back before times of media, the reason why Homo sapiens were so successful was because they were able to dominate other tribes. Through banding together and communication. They conquered all these other whatever came before Homo sapiens.
Yeah, so the reason humans were successful, in my view, is because they could form a tribe to start. It's not because of our intelligence. I always joke and say Einstein would be eaten in the jungle in 2 minutes, right? The reason why we succeeded is because Einstein could partner with a big guy that protected him while he was working on relativity in the jungle, right? Now, the further than that, so you have to assume that life is a very funny game because it provides, and then it deprives, and then it provides, and then it deprives. And for some of us, in that stage of deprivation, we try to say, okay, let's take the other guys. Let's just go to the other tribe, take what they have. Or for some of us, unfortunately, we tend to believe, okay, you know what, I'm powerful. F the rest of you, I'm just going to be the boss. Now, it's interesting that you position this as the condition of humanity. If you really look at the majority of humans, what do the majority of humans want? Be honest. They want to hug their kids. They want a good meal. They want good sex. They want love. They want, for most humans, don't measure on you and I. Okay? Don't measure by this foolish person that's dedicated the rest of his life to try and warn the world around AI or, solve love and relationships. That's crazy. And I will tell you openly, and you met Hannah, my wonderful wife. It's the biggest title of this year for me is, which of that am I actually responsible for? Which of that should I do without the sense of responsibility? Which of that should I do because I can? Which of that should I ignore completely? But the reality is, most humans, they just want to hug their loved ones. Okay? And if we could give them that without the need to work 60 hours a week, they would take that for sure. Okay? And you and I will think, but life will be very boring. To them, life will be completely fulfilling. Go to Latin America. Go to Latin America and see the people that go work enough to earn enough to eat today and go dance for the whole night. Go to Africa, where people are sitting literally on, sidewalks in the street and completely full of laughter and joy. We were lied to, the gullible majority, the cheerleaders. We were lied to believe that we need to fit as another gear in that system. But if that system didn't exist, none of us will go wake up in the morning and go like, oh, I want to create it. Totally not. I mean, you've touched on it many times today. We don't need, most people that build those things don't need the money.
Obrigado por assistir até aqui. Se você gostou deste vídeo, deixe seu like, se inscreva no nosso canal e deixe um comentário sobre o que você pensa sobre este assunto.